Every A-list celebrity walking onto a late-night set carries a mental shield worth millions of dollars in PR training. But Graham Norton has a secret weapon, a literal open bar and a seating plan designed for total psychological collapse. Look at the contracts. While American shows offer a tiny bottle of water and a list of banned topics, Norton's backstage is a high-octane lounge where the goal is simple: get them loose, get them laughing, and get them to forget the cameras are even there. The truth is, Graham Norton doesn't just interview stars, he dismantles them with surgical precision. It's a calculated ambush disguised as a dinner party. If this video felt like a slap in the face, you needed it. Subscribe for the next one. Think about the way Tom Cruise acts on a typical US press tour. He's a machine. He's perfect. He smiles at the exact right frequency to keep the box office numbers climbing. Now, flip the script. Put that same man on the Graham Norton sofa next to a foul-mouthed comedian and a legendary rock star. The mirror image is shocking. Suddenly, the billionaire action hero is wheezing with laughter, spilling secrets about his co-stars, and leaning so far into his neighbor's personal space that his PR team is likely screaming in the wings. Trace it back to the source. It's the proximity. On Fallon or Kimmel, there's a massive desk acting as a physical barrier, a literal wall of protection between the star and the host. Norton removes the wall. He forces them into a cramped red sofa where knees touch and drinks clink. This is where the mask doesn't just slip, it shatters on the floor. Only the mentally resilient made it this far into the video. Hit subscribe, Survivor. You are watching a high-stakes game of ego chicken. When Robert De Niro, a man notorious for one-word answers, starts telling long stories, you know the environment has won. It's not magic. It's a tactical strike on the celebrity ego. Norton waits for the exact second their posture slumps and the PR smile fades. That is when the real show begins. Think about the standard US late-night set. You have the desk. It's a fortress made of polished wood. The host sits higher than the guest. It's a power play. Now, look at the mirror image in the UK. Norton is on a chair that's practically a stool. He's vulnerable. He's in the line of fire. The truth is, that desk in Hollywood is a security blanket for the fragile. When Miriam Margolyes, a woman who has never filtered a single thought in her life, sat next to Will Smith, the energy shifted instantly. You could see the physical panic in Smith's eyes. This wasn't a rehearsed segment. This was a collision. Margolyes started talking about her own bodily functions, and Smith, the biggest movie star on the planet, looked like he wanted to crawl under the fabric of the sofa. He didn't have his desk. He didn't have his scripted jokes. He was just a guy sitting next to an elderly woman who was embarrassing him in front of millions. Trace it back to the source. The seating chart is the real director of the show. Norton doesn't pair people who know each other. He pairs the untouchable with the unpredictable. It's a social experiment disguised as entertainment. Look at the way Harrison Ford reacts when he's put next to a high-energy comedian like Jack Whitehall. Ford usually hates press. He looks like he'd rather be getting a root canal. But on that couch, with a glass of scotch and Whitehall making fun of his own career, Ford's wall crumbles. He starts smiling. He starts participating. He becomes human. You there, don't think this is accidental. Every seat assignment is vetted. Every drink is refilled the moment it hits the halfway mark. It's a tactical dismantling of the Hollywood elite. The US shows try to protect the brand. Norton tries to expose the person. If you think celebrities are just like us, you're wrong. But Norton makes them act like it for 60 minutes. The mirror doesn't lie. One side is a PR campaign. The other side is a car crash you can't look away from. Most people turn away when things get awkward. You didn't. You're still here. Hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started with the real truth. Look at the red chair segment. It's a literal trapdoor. While American hosts give their audience members a gift bag and a hug, Norton gives them a platform and then physically ejects them if their story sucks. It's brutal. It's fast. It's exactly what the industry needs. The celebrities watch this happen from the safety of the couch, laughing like kids in a playground, forgetting that their own reputation is currently on the line. The reality is that the publicists are terrified of this show. They can't control the flow. They can't stop a guest from chiming in on another guest's interview. That's the mirror effect in its purest form. The moment a star realizes they are no longer the most important person in the room, it's an ego-bruising reality check that makes for the best television on Earth. At the start of a typical episode, the guests are seated upright. Their hands are folded. Their jackets are buttoned. Fast forward 40 minutes. The jackets are off. The legs are crossed. They are leaning into each other. This is the Norton lean. It's the physical manifestation of a broken defense. They aren't talking to the camera anymore. They are talking to the person 3 inches away from them. This is how Norton got Mark Wahlberg to sit on a guest's lap. This is how he got a sober, serious actor like Benedict Cumberbatch to walk like a penguin for 5 minutes. It's not just being funny. It's a total loss of the celebrity mask. The mirror shows us 2 versions of the same person. The one the studio sells, and the one that exists after 3 gins and a joke about their worst movie. You there. You think you're seeing a chat show, but you're actually watching a demolition crew at work. Every laugh is a brick falling off the wall. Every drink is a crack in the foundation. By the time the musical guest starts playing, the star we knew at the beginning of the hour is gone. In their place is a person who is slightly disheveled, a little too loud, and completely human. That is the genius of the machine. That is why the biggest names in the world keep coming back, even though they know they'll leave a piece of their carefully crafted image on that red fabric. They want to feel the ground under their feet again. They want to be reminded that the pedestal they live on is just a piece of furniture. And Norton? He's the one holding the lever to the trap door, smiling because he knows exactly what's going to happen next. The truth is, the Hollywood machine is built on distance. Norton is built on proximity. And in that tiny gap between 2 celebrities on a sofa, the real truth of fame is finally revealed. If you're still watching, it's because you crave the reality over the script. Don't stop now. We're about to dive into the biggest PR disasters that Norton ever televised. Subscribe to see how the world's most powerful people fell apart in front of a live audience. The energy in the room shifts the exact second a star realizes they've said too much. Look at the physical evidence from the 2013 episode with Mark Wahlberg. He wasn't just having a good time. He was physically invading Graham's space, pulling his hair, and slurring over every other guest on the sofa. It was a PR nightmare unfolding in 4K resolution. Now, mirror that disaster with the night Matt Damon and Bill Murray turned the set into their own private lounge. On the surface, one looks like a mess, and the other looks like a party. But the reality is exactly the same. Both moments show a total collapse of professional control where the star disappears and the raw, unchecked ego takes the wheel. You can see the panic in the eyes of the other guests and the frantic movements of the publicists standing just off camera. The algorithm usually hides the truth about how these celebrities actually behave when the script is gone. Subscribe to this channel right now to bypass the system and see the side of Hollywood they try to hide. These A-listers spend millions of dollars on image consultants just for the entire facade to vanish because of a red sofa and a few glasses of white wine. They are used to being the most important people in every room, but on this show, they are just another person with a glass that's being refilled too often. You're going to want to know which major star is the next to crack under the pressure. Subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. The big question remains for the next big press tour. Will the latest round of blockbuster actors be able to keep their masks on, Or will we see another multi-million-dollar reputation go up in flames before the musical guest even hits the first note? Watch the body language of Will Smith when Miriam Margolyes starts talking about her personal hygiene or her total lack of interest in his blockbuster films. You can see the exact second the Fresh Prince smile freezes into a mask of pure terror. He is a man who has spent 30 years perfecting a brand of universal likability, but Miriam treats him like a random stranger on a bus. This is the mirror image of the Mark Wahlberg disaster. While Mark used physical aggression and slurred words, Miriam uses brutal honesty to strip away the celebrity armor. In both cases, the result is identical. The high-paid superstar becomes a regular, vulnerable person who has no idea how to react when the room isn't following their script. They are trapped in a physical space they can't control. The studio lights feel hotter, the couch feels smaller, and every second of silence from the audience feels like a physical weight on their chest. These are the moments Hollywood lawyers try to bury under layers of copyright strikes and legal threats. Subscribe before videos like this get sanitized or taken down by the same high-powered teams that try to control every frame of their clients' public lives. You are seeing the real human being underneath the layers of professional makeup and media training. And the truth is that it's usually someone who is terrified of not being the most important person in the room. The entire industry is built on the lie that these people are more composed and more interesting than the average person. But the reality is that this is just a distraction technique used by major studios to keep the mystery alive and the ticket sales high. When you take away the teleprompter and add a bit of social pressure, the biggest names in the world revert to the same awkward or arrogant behaviors you see at any local bar. Subscribe to see how deep the rabbit hole really goes when the cameras stay on and the real personalities finally come out to play. As the next massive awards season approaches, the stakes are higher than they have ever been. We have actors with 9-figure contracts and reputations that are one bad interview away from a total public collapse. Will the next A-list guest manage to hold their breath for 45 minutes of filming, or will the red sofa finally break their spirit? When the cameras pan to the next star and the host pours another glass of wine, look closely at their hands. Are they shaking? Because the next time that mask slips, it might be the last time we ever see them as heroes. The PR wall finally crumbles. You see the twitch in the jaw and the fake smile fade into a cold stare. It happened on talk shows decades ago, and it's happening on viral clips right now. The setting changes, but the ego stays exactly the same. I don't waste your time, you don't waste mine. Subscribe if you value substance. These stars aren't legends. They're just people with better lighting who are one bad question away from a total meltdown. This whole untouchable image is just a distraction technique to keep you buying tickets. Subscribe only if you have the stomach to watch until the end of this fake reign. When the trailer for their next blockbuster drops, will you see the hero or just the person who snapped? The mask isn't just slipping, it's gone.